Welcome to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. Murphy Fair, week 6 in the books.
Already, yeah, we're 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away from the first round of the state playoffs, so kind of hard to believe.
Murphy, it's exciting. I know there is a nip in the air now. There's not the heat that we've had. We've really not had to deal with that very much this season, which is definitely not the norm. But now we're getting down some 50s. When you get after the sun goes down on Friday night, we've had some gorgeous fall weather.
We really have, and there's a lot of people, my wife included, who thinks we're going to have maybe one of the hardest winters we've had in a long, long time.
Right.
So we don't have Miss Helen from Crossville
from Crab
Orchard. That's right, to lead us through that.
Let's go ahead and look at some of the stats. KFC, Taco Bell, Gordonsville, and Smithville stats of the week. I want to thank Chris Jones and his bunch for sponsoring that. And then our DTC Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. DeKalb County, a big win over Cannon County, 55-7. Very one-sided stats in favor of DeKalb County. Murphy, of course, you throw in 3 turnovers there for the Lions, and it was a long night for their Cannon County fans.
Well, yeah, and coming off a heartbreaking overtime loss at Lookout Valley the week before, they just didn't seem to maybe have their focus quite right for DeKalb County. But in their defense, DeKalb County is a pretty good 4A football team, and they're going to win still a lot of football games with Steve Trapp at the controls.
They look at the stats, Murphy. 41 rushes, 327 yards. If you put that in your calculator, that's about 7.98 yards per rush.
Yeah, they just seem to control the line of scrimmage very, very well. And I went to the Smith County, DeKalb County game about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'd already heard so much about Smith County's offensive line, but Steve's got some pretty good sized boys up front for that Tiger team as well.
He does. Of course, they beat Smith County, the only loss for the Owls so far, on a last-second field goal by the freshman kicker, and won it 17-14. But statistically, a very dominating performance for DeKalb County. And looking at DeKalb County stats, Murphy, Kobe Barnes, another huge game, 28 rushes, 242 yards, 5 touchdowns. This young man's no doubt going to be in the running for the DTC Player of the Year at the end of the season, just because he's had such a outstanding. Don't know what his cumulative stats are, but you look at Jordan Parker coming in there with 6 for 9, 110 yards, a couple of rushes, added a touchdown. In Briz Trapp's absence, they haven't seemed like lost a lot.
They didn't miss a whole lot with him being gone last week. You talked about the Barnes kid in particular. He's really fun to watch on a football team. His first 2 steps are like my first 2 steps because I get slower after I get past that second one. But no, he hits the line really, really well. And if you're not going at him really, really well yourself, you're just going to miss the tackle and off he goes.
He's so rugged. He has speed, he has power, both. Our DTC Player of the Game and the offensive lineman for them, and Shady Rancorn. And Murphy, we probably don't mention those guys enough, but the people up front are the reason that DeKalb County averaged 8 yards a carry, or right at that, in that Cannon County game.
Do that, and they also give the quarterback plenty of time to look for his receiver and get the pass completed. It's just a complete package, and it hasn't been all that long that DeKalb County really didn't have much of a football team, and that's no reflection on the kids. They just didn't have a lot of kids coming out for football, for one thing, and that's changed a great deal. And Steve Trapp has done such a good job. He takes as much pride in that program as anybody over there.
10 rushes for 47 yards and a touchdown for Kobe Miller for Cannon County in their 55-7 loss to DeKalb County. Let's go ahead and look at some more stats. COALFIELD at Gordonsville. Gordonsville jumps out 21-0. Matthew Albrecht, a huge game throwing the football. Murphy, when you look 6 for 9, 227 yards, that's about 35, 36 yards per pass completion. He had a couple of touchdowns there, 2 of them real long touchdowns. You got 5 rushes for 46 yards. Kenny Musgrove, 6 carries, 46 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Brady Gentry, an outstanding night, averaging over nearly about 65 yards per reception. 3 receptions, 196 yards. Oh, yeah, and by the way, 3 touchdowns. I saw that on Friday night, but that was Peyton Hicks. He hadn't scored all year. 3 pass catches, 3 touchdown receptions, and a 2-point conversion. So a big night for Brady Gentry.
Yeah, and the entire Gordonsville football team. If you put 42 on the board against COALFIELD, you've conquered a pretty good squad out there. And I know there were a lot of people questioning the All-Britain kid at quarterback the first couple of games, but he was coming off of that. Was it a hamstring thing, I believe?
He had an injury. Yes.
But he's looking more and more like he did down the stretch last year.
Well, in his defense, Murphy, he had no preseason work due to the injury.
Sure.
And, when he went out there to play against the Owls over in Carthage on Saturday night, that was his preseason and scrimmages altogether. Yes, he's a veteran. He's a 4-year starter. But still, Murphy, like I do, without those reps, it's hard to get in the flow, do the things you need to do, although you have that experience, because you hadn't been on the field.
His experience is starting to show now. These last 2 or 3 games, I'd like to put those 3 sets of stats together, because he's done a great job leading the offense for sure.
Luke Treese for COALFIELD. Of course, that's up in Upper East Tennessee, a place that Murphy Fair took me there one time when Mr. Crease was their head coach. I think his brother was the strength coach at Vanderbilt. He was kin to him or cousin or something. I think they were related some way. But when you look at COALFIELD, Murphy, is one of those real small towns that when they turn the lights out on Friday night, they usually have a huge football following.
They've had a lot of sorrow and mishap as far as their coaches are concerned. Coach Chris had a cancer situation 6 or 8 years ago, I guess, and then his successor also ended up dying because of cancer, and the assistant coach on that same team, and they were brothers. So it's been an emotional time for COALFIELD football, but they keep winning football games up there nonetheless. Keith Henry was that second coach.
Right. Upperman at Watertown. Upperman gets a huge win. Of course, I think that game was on Mid-State TV. But when you look at Upperman, they've kind of been up and down, lost a game or two. But it seems that Adam Kane is getting his team turned around, and Watertown's offense is really struggling right now. That's been kind of their problem all year. And regardless of how good your defense is, Murphy, if you turn the ball over and not be able to get first downs and keep a time possession where your defense is not out there all the time, it makes it awfully tough.
When they got beat rather badly by Fayetteville, myself and lots of other football fans too thought it was maybe a speed factor, because we know Fayetteville's got speed, but they showed some pretty good speed, they being Upperman, the other night against Watertown, I thought too. That was a big part of their offensive effort.
Charleston County came to the Owls and they dropped 0-6. The Owls jump out 33-0 at halftime, did not score on their first drive, scored on their next 8 possessions. Caden Powell, another huge night, 8 for 11, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, all those to Peyton Hicks. He also had led the team in rushing, 10 rushes for 87 yards, added another score. Peyton Hicks, 3 receptions for 64 yards. Ethan Madewell, he had 3 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown. And when you look, of course, Charleston County only had 31 yards, Murphy, until their final drive against the Owls, maybe 3rd or 4th unit defense. They put in Noah Cook, the backup quarterback. He went 3 for 3 for 75 yards, all those to Quentin Moore, including the touchdown there with just over 2 minutes left. But Charleston County continues to struggle.
I wasn't there, obviously, but did Charleston County get an owl, even in owl territory, very often?
Not much until that final drive. I mean, they only had 1 first down, Murphy, until that. They had 79 yards, 3 first downs on that final drive, all those coming by pass, but only about 100 people in the stands from Hartsville, and that's just not. When the Owls and Jackets get together, that's usually a huge gate for both. But Charleston County, with their struggles, just didn't come to Carthage.
Well, we were kind of expecting that to be the case, but I wouldn't have thought it would have been that low.
We'll take a look at the region scores when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackware Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
Earn a $25 bill credit for you and $25 for your favorite local school when you add or upgrade internet service or TV with DTC.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Kerry Collins, Murphy Ferry, and Justin Maul have been doing all the hard work behind the scenes for us. And we're going to look at our Sonic scores for the week. For week 6, Region 4 1A scores. Westmoreland, a big win over Clay County. Clay County goes for 2, Murphy. They're late in that ball game. There were 34 flags in that ball game. Took nearly 3 hours to play it. But we thought that would be a close game, and it definitely was.
Yeah, and 20-19, you can't ask for a better football game. I think one reason Clay County probably went for the 2 also was the fact that it wasn't a regional game. I know they hated to get a loss in the game, but nonetheless, a pretty good match. And I think if they played again, Clay County would probably win the second one, back and forth. That
game was at Westmoreland. Whitwell big over Red Boiling Springs. East Robertson continues to roll. They get a big win over Joe Burns, and of course, East Robertson, in a crash course with Westmoreland, you'd think for that region championship.
Well, I think so. You and I have talked about that 2 or 3 times and kind of figured that's the way it's going to be because Watertown and Trousdale County, the 2 teams that are usually, vying for that. No, that's the next classification up in.
That's right, Region 4 2A, as we say that. Sonica Carthage scores for that. McEwen over Harpeth. Harpeth, a team facing, I think, Trousdale County this week. We'll get into those just a little bit. But, a loss there. And then Whites Creek, a team that I think are winless coming in.
Right.
It's a win over Cheatham County, 18-14.
And all of a sudden now, some people in Hartsville wondering if they can even beat Whites Creek. We were ready to give them that game based on what we'd seen in the first half of the season, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Might be a pretty good game.
Only 21 players dressed out for Hartsville, and that, of course, they could have had some injured in the game at Carthage last Friday night. Let's go ahead and look at some Region 4 3A scores, and I guess the one that was kind of the headliner, we thought, Page over Giles County. Page Patriots just keep on running and keep on rolling. They throw the football all over the field. Red, white, and blue Patriots, they're for real.
Charles Rathbone does a really, really good job with that particular football team. A really soft-spoken kind of guy until it's football time. A pretty good-sized guy. Got a trivia question for you. Where do you think he went to high school?
I have no clue.
William Blumpton.
Oh, I got you.
Can you imagine someone as big as he is not playing for Alcoa or Maryville,
Bledsoe County over Sequatchie County, and it's not too far from Pikeville to Dunlap, but a big win there for Bledsoe County.
That's one of those border wars like the Hatfields versus the McCoys, and that's a huge win for Bledsoe County of beating their big rivals, Sequatchie.
Cascade over Community, 46-0, and Franklin County a big win over Grundy County, 61-6. Looking at the Region 5 3A scores, that first one, Murphy, I think that kind of validates what you and I thought. East Nashville is the odds-on favorite to make it back to the Blue Cross Bowl in Class 3A with a huge win over Independence. And I think that was at Independence in Franklin County.
It was. Yeah, East Nashville just keeps getting better and better each week. And I know the fact that they played in the state championship last game is several games ago, but nonetheless, that was the first time they'd ever been to a title game, and that experience will certainly help them if they get that far.
I said Franklin County, I meant in Franklin in Williamson County. Hunters Lane over Stratford, 31-14, Friendship Christian, big over Maplewood. And then Jackson County, Murphy, and a little bit surprising win for them, close one, but they get their border rival, Jackson and Overton there. They get it 19-7 over Livingston.
Probably should have called Jackson County's coach and asked if they had ever beaten Livingston, because Jackson County football has not been strong in quite some time. But of course, big one there for sure.
It was. That's Sean Loftus, I think, over at Jackson County. Of course, we'll see him later. That's the only game the Owls have left on the road out of their last 4 at home. Region 4 4A scores, Macon County a big win over Portland Murphy, and we thought that would be a closer game than that.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was surprised by that score as well. Macon County is a formidable foe for sure. Smith County had them beat, and Lady Luck just wasn't on their side that night.
Well, when you look Macon County and Smith County in that week 10, Murphy's going to be a huge game.
Sure.
That people are going to be looking for. Stone Memorial over York and Polk County over Cumberland County. Some other notable games, scores, White County a big win over Green Hill. The only thing about it, the outstanding running back for White County. Got to talk to one of their teachers yesterday at the volleyball game when they played Smith County, and he suffered a hamstring injury and went out. And his availability this week is unknown.
That's going to be really, really tough. I don't remember his last name. I know his first name is Malachi, and there was after the third week of the regular season, he had more rushing yards than any high school back, not just in Tennessee, in the whole country. He was at 1,200 yards in the first 3 games.
Knoxville West, a big win over Alcoa, 29-26. Of course, Alcoa plays an extremely tough schedule, and Gary Rankin's team gets back on the roll, 55-7. Let's go ahead and look at some Region 4 1A games that are coming up. We want to thank Sonic of Carthage for giving us or sponsoring those scores. Gordonsville at Joe Burns and Clay County at Red Bull, and probably 2 one-sided affairs there, Murphy.
I think so. Gordonsville hasn't been playing Joe Burns on a regular basis until this last realignment and enrollment figures, but it's turned into a pretty good rivalry for both of those schools.
Looking at Region 4 2A, of course, that is a pretty long trip over for Gordonsville. Watertown and East Robertson. Of course, East Robertson continues to be impressive, Murphy, with the things they do. Westmoreland at Whites Creek. And then that big game we talked about, it could be the difference in Trousdale County having that. They hadn't missed the playoffs since 1987, got the longest playoff streak of any team in any classification in the playoffs. But Murphy, they're nearly having to go down to Kingston or Kingston Springs and get a win if they want to make the playoffs.
That's going to be tough. And you mentioned the other night when they were playing at Carthage, or was that at Hartsville?
No, it was at Carthage.
Okay. You said Trousdale County had less than 24 players dressed out.
Right.
And I don't know if I can ever remember a Yellow Jacket team from the Creek Bank having that low a number.
Of course, they've got to win 2 of their last 3. They've got Whites Creek left in the region. They've got Watertown left in the region, and Harpeth. And, that's 2 of those 3 they're going to have to probably snag to get a playoff berth. Go ahead and look at some more games coming up. Grundy County at Cannon County. That's our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. And Sequatchie County at Community.
DTC does a really good job, and I know there's probably some people out there watching wondering, why is Cannon County on there again? They were just on there in the last week or 2, but DTC does such a great job of trying to make sure all the schools in their 5-school coverage area get equal time, that's one of the reasons they're there. Plus they don't make a habit of driving 150 miles for a TV game.
Right. Let's go ahead and look at Region 5 3A games. Stratford at Smith County. Of course, that's homecoming for the Owls on Friday night before their open day. Jackson County at Maplewood. And Murphy, that could be a pretty good ball game.
Yeah, probably so, because Maplewood is still down after Arcente Broom took the head coaching job at Nashville Overton. And with the win last week that Jackson County got, they've got some momentum on their side for sure.
Green Hill at East Nashville. Murphy Green Hill has, to be a second-year school, they've really elevated their game. They beat Mount Juliet last year, which was their in-town rival. Of course, that Green Hill had some kids from Mount Juliet that was zoned, or I don't know if they're zoned or not, but went to Mount Juliet High School that broke off to Green Hill, which is right on the Wilson and Davidson County line, just a mile or two inside it. But East Nashville, Murphy, the way that they're playing right now, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to go undefeated between now and the state championship game.
No, I don't think so either, and that may be my game of choice to watch that one, because Green Hill was awfully good last year, and I think East Nashville may be even a little better than they were last year. Region
4 4A games, Livingston at DeKalb, Upperman at Macon, Stone Memorial at Cumberland. That Upperman at Macon is an awful big game. It's kind of a test of wheels. Macon County, of course, got the Borders kid that can break it from anywhere on the field. And then Upland, especially after their impressive win last week against Watertown, that's a huge step in who might win that region championship.
Exactly. And the third game up there, I think Stone Memorial wins that one going away. They've got a pretty fair football team. I think they only have one loss, maybe two. Cumberland County still struggling, though.
We'll have an interview with Gordonsville Athletic Director Butch Agee when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the Box Score right here on DTC TV.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
Opioid overdoses continue to claim lives in Tennessee. Naloxone, an opioid reversal drug, can save lives. Call the Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition for a free, quick, and confidential training. Also, if you are struggling with substance use disorder due to your alcohol and drug use, help is only a phone call away. Call the Tennessee Red Line. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
With former head coach Butch Agee. Of course, he led the Tigerettes for many, many years. Butch, how many years was it you were the head coach for Gordonsville girls?
25 years in girls basketball.
I guess 25 years doing radio and other things and newspaper. I know that you were there along. Now you're the athletic director, so we appreciate you visiting with us today.
I was glad to have you.
Butch, when you look, your team last Friday night had a big emotional win over COALFIELD, highly ranked coming in, and Gordonsville gets a decisive victory. I know it was kind of a rocky start, going out 0-2, losing to the Owls and to the Purple Tigers, but seems like Steven Jackson's got things rolling in the right direction right now for the Big Blue.
Well, yeah. Nobody will start 0-2, and that was probably two of the better teams that we're going to have on the schedule. You learn a lot from your losses, and the guys continue to work. The coaches, they're realistic about where we're at, where we needed to be. So there was no letdown as far as effort-wise. Work ethic was there. And we've continued to get better each week. So it's it's a process that you're wanting to be playing well by the end of the year, and those guys have to stay focused on doing that.
Butch, the score was so one-sided. People hate to go to a ball game that's quite that one-sided, but it does give those sophomores and a handful of juniors some very valuable playing time, so that when you get on deeper into the season and hopefully the playoffs, you're not sending rookies out on the field that hadn't been there before. I thought that was a really good move by the coaching staff.
Yeah, and those guys do a good job. We played a lot of kids this year, and that's, like you're saying, that's good, because injuries and sickness and things like that, you don't never know when somebody's going to have to be on the field, and any minute you can get them throughout the season is important. And they focus on doing that. I mean, when we have an opportunity to do it, they don't hesitate in putting those younger kids in.
Well, Coach Agee, I guess you've got a big volleyball game coming up tomorrow in front of the student body, where the Lady Owls will come over from Carthage and play. I know they've already played early this year, and they're having a pretty successful year. So you got to be pretty thrilled with how your fall sports are going right now.
Well, yeah, our volleyball team is doing really well. We had a big match with Upperman yesterday that we lost in 5, and they have I think Red Bowling may be coming in. No, it's not Red Bowling. I forget. They have a game today. Then tomorrow, student body's always big for our girls. I mean, that's the most exciting atmosphere that they'll play in at home. I know they go over there, and it's the same for the Carthage when they're playing at their place. So we're excited about it. The kids get into it, and the girls, like I say, they're doing really well. We beat Watertown the other day. That was a big win. I think it's the first time in 5 years we've beaten them. So they're rolling pretty good right now, and they're getting ready for district tournament next week.
Coach, you got one of those familiar faces. I've lived either in or around Gordonsville for way too long, maybe, but nonetheless, when you were in high school, you might have thought about being a coach, but did you ever give any thought to being an assistant principal?
I don't know that ever crossed my mind. As you get into things and you get down the road, you're looking for changes and stuff. And, after coaching for 25 plus years, you're just looking for something a little different. Age catches up with you, and you just don't have maybe the energy to do all the things you need to do as far as what's best for the kids and working and stuff and having time for them, especially when you have your own kids that you are, you're trying to enjoy and be at their events. So, I don't know that at that time coming out of high school and college, really my only focus was I really wanted to coach. So, but this has been a good opportunity, and I've enjoyed this part of it as well.
Butch, speaking of that, I know you got a senior, Drew, who coach looks more like a defensive back than he does a defensive lineman. But I noticed against the Owls, he's pretty daggum quick, and I don't know where he gets that. I guess from Granddaddy Jerry and Grandma Barbara, but still, Coach, he creates a lot of havoc for his size to be playing up front with the big boys.
Yeah, he is pretty hard-nosed. Yeah, he's got the body more like you say of a DB. He's probably 140, 45 pounds maybe. But he doesn't mind contact. He actually enjoys contact, and he's going to get in there and he's going to bust his butt and do what it takes. And he's played some linebackers inside, outside, and he'll stick his nose in there and try to make something happen. As far as his genes, those speed and quickness must have skipped a generation. They sure didn't land on me.
But I know that's got to make you proud, though, that you can take that athletic director hat off, and I don't know if you can ever take it completely off, but to see him grow and mature and now get ready to graduate. That doesn't seem possible to me, or because I remember Drew back T-ball age and thought, seeing him in the gym over there, thought he'd never get, grown, but now he's just about there.
Yeah, time goes by in a hurry for sure. And on Friday nights, I do take the ADs. I enjoy the game. I thought the other guys do the work during the game, and they allow me to watch it and enjoy his last year.
Butch, with my magazine keeping me pretty busy on Friday nights the last 30-plus years, I always look forward to going to Gordonsville and watching a ball game over there. And when I went over there a couple of years ago and saw your new field house and locker room and weight room, I had a lump in my throat because that facility was needed over there a long, long time ago, and you guys patiently waited, but somebody made sure it happened, and I know that's got to evoke a lot of pride in your football team.
Well, it does. We had a lot of people that donated, backed it, and worked at getting it done, and it was upgraded. It was overdue. And but it's benefited our kids. All of our sports, are able to use the new weight room and things. So it's been something that's been beneficial, and hopefully will continue to be for years to come.
It was almost like walking into a dungeon over there in the basement when Coach Ford was still there. I can remember the first time I went down those steps to the locker room, and I was waiting for something to jump out behind something over there and kill me or something because it was just so outdated. But it was something a lot of guys over there enjoyed for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was. Like I say, it wasn't up to date. Like I say, we were able to make do for several years, and we got a lot of use of what we have. But the new facility does open up opportunities for a lot more sports to be able to do different things and enhance our kids' performances for sure.
Coach, let's talk a minute about your field. It's second to none. Great Bermuda turf there. That takes a lot of work. And then this year with Thad Underwood and his crew doing a press box. In fact, we entered that press box and out of the Jamboree as they virtually were leaving, putting that up on the visitor side, something that was very much needed. I know very much appreciated by DTC TV and also Visiting Radio because it's pretty crowded, or was pretty crowded over there in the home Keith Williams press box.
Yeah. Well, and just going back to what we talked about with the field house and the way we have people that are willing to donate when they can to help us out, whether it be money or time. Thad and some his guys that work with him, they spent about most of 3 weeks up here working on that. DTC, obviously, they contributed greatly to us being able to build that. And it is something that was needed, and hopefully we're then going to be able to redo our home press box and update it, do some things here in the next year or so. But, it's good that you got people that are willing to do things, and you got companies like DTC that are willing to help you, move forward and progress with your facilities and things. And as far as the field, we have Coach Peoples and Coach Jackson. The hours is you can't count the number of hours they put into that field, and but it's as good a turf as anywhere I've ever been in high school football.
Butch, when you look at baseball and softball, they both went to the state tournament a year ago, so it's exciting to see the level that the sports or each sport has gotten to at Gordonsville High School.
Well, yeah, we're really fortunate and pleased with the coaches that we have. Their work ethic, their priorities, and what they focus on. They focus on the right things, and in doing those things, they're able to win a lot of ball games, which is what most people obviously are going to look at. But what they do that other people don't see, and it's not as noticeable outside the school, is what's really important is the impact they have on these kids' lives and trying to instill work ethic and character and those kind of things. And you have good coaches, they build good programs, and you have a lot of success. And sometimes, like last year, you're going to get to go to state tournaments or championship games or whatever it is, and that speaks to the coaches that we have and the kids willing to work. I mean, you also got to have kids that are willing to put time into it to get to that point.
Coach, I would imagine that one of your toughest upcoming jobs is going to be putting a schedule together. Only 4 teams in that particular region, so there's only 3 definitely scheduled games, and so you got to find 7 other people to play that don't really want to play Gordonsville with the success you all have had over the years.
Well, we're not sure where we're going to fall yet. I mean, our enrollment was up in the 360s this time, so at this point we're not sure where we'll be 1 or 2A. But with that other being said, there's a lot of teams that and that don't want to play us. We've had COALFIELD and Oliver Springs, who are both about 2.5 hours away, that are on our schedule, and we got Eagleville, who we have to go about an hour and 15 minutes. It is hard to get teams around to play. Between Carthage, Hartsville, and Watertown, that's about it. Everything else is an hour or so away.
Well, Coach Agee, we appreciate you visiting with us, and best of luck to the Tigers throughout the football season, volleyball. I know we didn't get a chance to touch on the 3-time defending state champion in golf. I know she's looking forward to a great senior year and to try to get that 4th in a row, and she's had tremendous success. I know you got to be proud of her.
Well, she actually, of course, won the region this week, and state tournament, or the golf is, I think, next Wednesday. Starts next Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. So she's headed up to Sevierville to compete in that, and we're all wishing her well and hoping she can come back with a 4th one.
That would be awesome.
Coach Butch Agee, we appreciate your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Okay, we've been interviewing Gordonsville Athletic Director and longtime coach Butch Agee. Of course, he's under Shane Vaden, the principal there at Gordonsville High School. And we'll be back as you're watching The Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security. For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started. Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Sophie
Don't
Linder.
be fooled. Vaping is just another way to deliver nicotine to your lungs. Learn the facts and escape the vape. We get it. Quitting is hard, but getting help is easy. Call the Tennessee Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW for free counseling and cessation patches. Sign up for the free Tennessee Tobacco Quit Line program and let us help you quit for good. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Welcome back to The Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. And we're going to look now at our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC. And that's Grundy County at Cannon County. And Murphy, that's another one that I know Cannon County's got a chance to get on the field and get a big win.
Cannon County's got a pretty fair football team. They just have a hard time playing 4 straight good quarters in a row, but I think they've got a really good chance to beat this Grundy County team, and this is a regional game, so if they want to get into the postseason, they really need one this week.
You know, coming off such a disappointing loss to another rival last week, DeKalb County, you would think the morale may be a little low this week.
No, the kids have bounced back. They did that several times the week before when they were playing at Lookout, and they were behind and retook the lead, I think, 2 or 3 times in that ball game. So they're not ready to quit just yet.
Let's go ahead and look at the history. As 7th meeting in the series since 2015, Grundy County leads that. Of course, Grundy County down at Colmont. There's Colmont, Altamont, Tracy City there in Grundy County, kind of a 3 cities that form Grundy County. Teams did not play back in 2020 because of COVID. Cannon County got a 33-0 home victory in 2018. That was later forfeited. Cannon County won 14-6 last year down in Colmont, and then they last won on the field. Grundy County 47-10. When you look at the points in the series, it's kind of a defensive struggle, and Murphy, what do you look for as far as this ball game? Was it be low scoring, high scoring?
Well, I think it'll be somewhere in the middle, really. They need to get their running back, the one that's done so well.
Ryan Perkins.
Yeah, he missed most of the second half, if I'm not mistaken, and that pretty much took away a lot of their offense. If he's back and healthy, and the quarterback, who's only a sophomore, has a pretty good night, I think we could get not only a win but a regional win.
Let's go ahead and look at these picks. I know Murphy looks forward to doing this, and we look forward to seeing. And then we like to tease him if he misses it. But I see a lot of cupcakes on here this week, Murph. I don't know. Maybe you don't. Gordonsville at Joe Burns.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty one-sided. I will have to mention, in my statewide picks last year, I was 81%.
Last week?
Last week. It was a good week, and hopefully I can maintain that again across the state this week. That's pretty easy. Like you said, I think the first three are kind of no-brainers. Gordonsville should have no trouble with Joe Burns whatsoever. Smith County, I think Coach Dyer will be able to play a lot of sophomores that traditionally don't play. Will get a chance to play against Stratford, and I look for DeKalb Livingston to be very one-sided as well.
Murphy, when you look at Watertown to East Robertson, most of the time Watertown has had the upper hand with East Robertson. But this year, with East Robertson having all those quick athletes that you got to defend all over the field, Watertown's going to have to play extremely well, I think, just to keep this game close.
I think you're right. East Robertson's on a good run right now and have a chance to actually win that region, I think. That one probably will be somewhat one-sided, but I think that one game will also determine which one of those teams is going to have a home field game in November.
Grundy County at Cannon County, and when you look, Murphy, Grundy County, of course, Ken Colquitt was down there a few years ago and had some pretty good programs, but they have really had some struggles. Of course, Tracy Hayworth was there, former UT player out of Franklin County, may even been out of Deckard. I don't remember for 100% sure, but when you look, Grundy has struggled on the gridiron over the last few years.
Yeah, they have, and again, I really hope Cannon County can get back on the winning ways. I don't really mean to be a cheerleader, but those kids really need to put another mark in the win column and feel good about themselves because they work so hard.
Well, you really need wins right now as far as region goes, Murphy, not only to make the playoffs, but then try to get into that second place. Of course, that's going to be extremely hard for them to do because when you look, they've already lost to Sequatchie in a close game where they led, and then they've got Giles County coming up, which is probably the cream of the crop in that region. But when you look at that, I know that just to make the playoffs, yes, that's good. But I think being the number 3 seed and then going to the number 2 seed in the corresponding region, which Cannon County has done before and won, that's probably what they're going to have to do this year.
If they wind up, I was looking at the regional standings here. Sequatchie's in first. Hold on, bear with me here just a moment. Cannon County's in there with Sequatchie in Region 4, so they'll have to go up against teams from the southeast corner of the state, like McMinn Central, Sweetwater, Kingston, that kind of thing. Yeah,
Signal Mountain, I think, is the team they beat a year ago. So, when you look at that, yes, there's some good teams, but not just overwhelming teams.
Exactly. Well put.
That'll be it, as box score is another one in the books, and as we wind toward the playoffs, got region matchups this week. We want to thank Justin Mauld and Murphy Farrer. I'm Terry Collins. Good night on the box score.